Welcome to the Campfire. Today we're analyzing District 22-6A. Teams in this district include Alvin, Shadow Creek, Manville, Dobie, Memorial, Sam Rayburn, South Houston, Pearland, and Dawson. Let's begin by taking a look at these teams in our film session, presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. In 2024, Shadow Creek ran through 22-6A at 8-0, only to be stunned in the first round of the playoffs by Elkins. You best believe the Sharks have had that loss on their minds during the long offseason. They returned the Stewart brothers, Chris, a Division I wide receiver, and Carter, a D1 defensive back. Besides those two, Tyrone Green's squad features a solid linebacking core led by Tommy Baker and Jerome Bell. Pearland will be the main competitor for the crown. The Oilers bring back 13 starters, including a defensive line, highlighted by Jalen Stewart and DeMarco Jenkins. They have a great passing combination coming back as well, with quarterback Jake Westmoreland and receiver Jordan Hernandez. Manville got 1,700 yards passing from Cam Renfro a season ago. That led them to the postseason. Mavericks should be looking at a 6A Division II playoff spot again this year before going back down to 5A next year. Pearland Dawson missed the postseason on the last game of the regular season last fall. The Eagles returned two top-flight receivers in Josiah McFarland and Corey Brown. Pasadena Dobie was the beneficiary of a tiebreaker in 2024 and made it into the 11th game. The Longhorns hope to go back. They will be looking to running back DeMarcus Hodges to lead them there. Memorial played many underclassmen last season and hope the experience will help them this fall. South Houston introduces new head coach Lamont Mayberry, while Alvin's new head coach Matt Bass is hoping to lead the Yellow Jackets to the postseason for the first time in 2 decades. Sam Rayburn went winless in district play and are switching to the slot T this season.
The film session is presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. The Campfire is brought to you by DQ for treats and eats before and after the game.
For an even deeper look at 22-6A, here's producer Ward Fasold and Matt Stepp from Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football with the District Breakdown.
All right, Matt Stepp joining me again as we're talking 22-6A, as we narrow down all the 6A districts. 22-6A, Shadow Creek kind of dominated it in district play. 8-0, I think 3 or 4 shutouts. They got the offensive MVP coming back and Stewart, defensive MVP coming back. And Tommy Baker, newcomer of the year coming back in Tristan Willis. But I tell you what, Stepp, all I can think about is 2 things. The first game and the last game. The first game took the wind out of my sails on Summer Creek big time. Or excuse me, Shadow Creek, because they lost to Summer Creek in a terrible fashion. I couldn't get back on the Shark bandwagon until like week 8. Then I get back on it, and they get beat by Elkins in the first round of playoffs. And I'm like, why did I get back on this thing? Talk to me about Shadow Creek with the talent they have coming back. And remember, Pearland, this is what, year 3 for Coach Scott, right? So year 3 is supposed to be the year things happen. So tell me, can they stay on top, and how do they shake off those 2 games?
It was an interesting playoff for this district last year, but I like Shadow Creek. I mean, Texas commit Chris Stewart, 15 touchdowns receiving, is one of the top receivers in the country. Carter Stewart there in the secondary is going to be outstanding. He might take over on offense at quarterback. You know, he was the defensive MVP last year. He might be the guy at quarterback. That's a big question for Shadow Creek this year, is who's going to take the reins of the offense at quarterback. But they're talented. Tyrone Green's got a ball club that's always super, super talented. And I think until proven otherwise, they're the favorite in 22-6A.
All right, throw me 1 through 8.
We're going to go Shadow Creek 1, Pearland 2. We're going to go Manville 3, Dawson 4, Dobie 5, Memorial 6. I'm going to go Rayburn 7, South Houston 8, and Alvin 9.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now, let's take a look at some game changers in our Players on the Rise, presented by Parker University. Chris Stewart of Shadow Creek follows in a long line of athletic wide receivers for the Sharks. Stewart caught 60 passes for 922 yards and 15 touchdowns as a junior and should be the Sharks' #1 option in the passing game again this fall. Chris is the perfect guy to be used on jet screens as he can take that short pass and go a long way. In track, Stewart also excels in the 100 and 200 meters. Chris is committed to the University of Texas. On the offensive line, no one provides more protection in 22-6A than Pearland's Nicholas Howard. Big Nick measures in at 6'5", 285 pounds with an 87-inch wingspan. Little hope in getting around this big man one-on-one as Howard has a knack for sandwiching his opponent. Nick committed to Pitt. Another monster on the O-line in this district is Devin Robeson of Pasadena Memorial. He's 6'3" and 330 pounds, and this big fella likes to eat in the trenches. Robeson took home the offensive lineman MVP at the Under Armour All-American Camp this spring and aims to continue that momentum into district play. Devin committed to TCU. On the other side of the ball, Jalen Stewart of Pearland is a dominant edge rusher for the Oilers. As a junior, Jalen had 65 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks. And add that to the 6 sacks Stewart had as a sophomore, and you can see why quarterbacks in this district, they're quite fearful. Earlier this summer, Jalen flipped his commitment from Oklahoma State to Illinois.
The film session is presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
Our Ward for Sold caught up to Manville head coach Kirk Martin to talk about his Mavs in our Media Day segment.
All right, we are talking 22-6A with Manville head coach Kirk Martin, who is now in his 3rd year on his comeback trail here to Manville. Coach, they always say the 3rd year is the year, right? It's the year you get everything implemented, you get to know your players. How much are you looking forward to diving into this 3rd year as the head of the Mavericks again?
Man, I'm pumped. I'm excited. Our kids are excited. We've identified a lot of our guys, and I think we'll have it all mapped out by the time we get through that second scrimmage.
What did you think about last year? Boy, it seemed like a very up and down year for you. You kind of went through at 500, and then you got the huge win over Hightower in the playoffs. A lot of people thought that was a bit of an upset, but you got that thing done. You ended up going 2 rounds. Talk about what you felt about last year.
I thought the Hightower game, it all came together for us, and that was our signature win. We just couldn't stay healthy, man. Especially, quarterback, running back. We struggled staying healthy, and went through really 3 different guys at the quarterback spot, and so I thought that was a big key. Just depth. We're 5A, playing 6A ball, and so we don't have a lot of depth, and so I think we've grown in that regard a little bit. We still have 5A numbers. We'll definitely be dropping back down to 5A, but I felt like we were really up and down. We competed really well. For a half against Pearland, and then, kind of the wheels fell off right before halftime there. I thought the same thing, against Shadow Creek, and then it was an up and down season for sure.
I appreciate you joining me, and good luck when the fall comes around.
Man, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks for all you do for, high school sports, specifically high school football in the great state of Texas and Greater Houston right here, man. No better place to be. Thanks for having me on.
You can catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. And that'll do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we take a deep dive into the area's toughest district, 23-6A. Until then, have a great week, everybody.